Welcome to Shaping Healthcare, a podcast by CitiusTech. Some of the great minds in the world are constantly striving to solve the healthcare industry's greatest challenges with technology, creativity, and agility. With every episode of the Shaping Healthcare podcast, we will take you deeper into the world of healthcare and life sciences and give you a perspective into what it takes to build a human-first, technologically enabled healthcare world. I'm your host, Laurel Rockall.
Joining us today are two distinguished leaders at the forefront of healthcare technology innovation. First, we have Bill Winkenwerder, chairman of CitiusTech, where he steers the strategic direction of a global leader in healthcare enterprise software engineering and data management. With the career spanning executive roles in healthcare leadership, policy, and innovation, Bill brings a wealth of expertise in guiding major healthcare organizations and advising leading private equity firms on healthcare investments. His visionary leadership at CitiusTech has been instrumental in driving significant growth and fostering innovation in the healthcare technology sector. Alongside Bill, we welcome Sridhar Turaga, Senior Vice President and Head of Data and Analytics Practices, as well as co-lead for GenAI Task Force at CitiusTech. With over 5 years dedicated to CitiusTech, Sridhar has been pivotal in advancing the integration of data, cloud, and AI to transform healthcare delivery worldwide. His leadership in GenAI initiatives underscores his commitment to pushing the boundaries of technological innovation in healthcare, enhancing patient outcomes, and operational efficiencies. Sridhar's insights into building GenAI-ready healthcare enterprises and navigating the complexities of global innovation teams provide invaluable perspectives for today's discussion on the future of healthcare technology. Bill and Sridhar, thanks for coming to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Laurel.
Morning.
Good morning, Bill. Let me start with a couple of questions. And Laurel, thank you so much for your time today. So, Bill, you've seen a lot of technologies, a lot of hype, and a lot of prior innovations in healthcare. But somehow GenAI seems a little different. It's probably the biggest noise, but yet it seems something different about this. What do you think is different about this? And what are you excited about application of GenAI in healthcare?
Sridhar, that's a great question. I have indeed seen a lot of trends and new innovation in, a 35-year career. Everything from the adoption and implementation of electronic health records to just the aggregation of data across the health system, value-based care, population health, all those trends. They're all important. However, I believe that generative AI and its application in healthcare has the prospect and the promise to be the most impactful of anything that we have done or that we've been able to embrace in order to improve and change healthcare. Why do I say that? Well, I've thought about this quite a lot. And what comes to mind for me is the ability of generative AI to aggregate large amounts of information, including non-data information, that is language and conversation, which is how we, communicate as humans, and to bring that together in a way that allows decisions to be made faster, more efficiently, more effectively, more accurately, and to, secondly, I'd say, to be able to do that across all of healthcare. So I see generative AI as a very broadly applicable technology, and it can and is beginning to be used in many different areas. I know people want to typically go to, the first idea or two or three and talk about that. But I think it's important to step back from all of it and think more broadly about how this technology has the prospect to impact so many different things. The ability of generative AI to sort of integrate into the workflow, the decision cycle, the data is remarkable. And so we're just on the front end of it, but I think it does stand out, at least to me, at this time as something that has the real prospect to be more impactful than anything that we've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, in all the noise and the excitement of generative AI, the core technology of foundation model that is serving as a foundation doesn't get as much attention, but really it is a foundation technology. And there's certain uniqueness to the ability to deal with textual and difficult data that makes it very exciting for healthcare organizations. So Bill, you speak with a lot of CEOs and executive leaders. Some of them are looking to experiment. Others are trying to kind of protect themselves from the hype. Others are going past from a prototype mode to production. What is your guidance and what is your insight to leaders trying to scale generative AI, but more importantly, deliver value at scale for their organizations?
Yeah, another great question. I divide the world of CEOs up at least into a couple of different groups. One is the CEOs of companies who are actually developing and implementing generative AI or other technologies. So they're coming into the system and seeking to bring about the change. So my advice to them, my thoughts to them, be a little bit different than the CEOs of medium-sized to large-sized organizations. Because, and I've been in both worlds during my career. I'd say for the larger organizations, it's important to think of this in the long term, as you point out, the foundational technology, and it's important to build sort of the foundation, the infrastructure. That includes attracting and organizing really smart people, but also people who are not so impressed with their own brilliance, but who truly understand healthcare and enjoy working with the clinicians, the staff, the patients to try to solve problems. So you have to have, I think, a problem-solving mindset. So for the CEO, it's how do you organize that kind of structure and process within your organization? How do you go forward quickly, but not so quickly that you make bad mistakes? So it's important to think about ethics and safety and actually put guardrails around what you're doing. So I think all of those things. And then for the smaller company CEOs, I encourage them to, especially if they haven't had experience in healthcare, to really embrace their own understanding of the broader system and the problems and the people and where history is, at least a little bit in the past, has gone and where it's taking up, so that they have a deeper understanding and don't get overly fascinated with the technology. Think about it in terms of, improving care, lowering cost, making for a better, experience.
Yeah. In fact, I think in healthcare, this technology is more of an AI assist than just a generative AI technology. And what I find is that those teams and innovators who have empathy, for a care team or are truly passionate about solving problems in healthcare are the ones who make progress. But those who are enamored by the coolness of the underlying AI or, don't seem to respect the complexity of a day-to-day organization seem to make the least amount of progress. So I totally resonate with what you said, Bill, that it's about putting people who are problem solvers in charge.
Yes.
And I think those organizations are making the most progress. So I resonate with that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Laurel, yours.
And you both have extensive careers that span healthcare leadership and innovation. So would you be able to each maybe share a couple of factors or moments that really made you a believer in Gen AI and its future in healthcare tech?
Sure, I'll take a shot at that. For me, it was seeing two or three things. One, it was first seeing a problem or a query, and then seeing a response using large language model Gen AI, and seeing the speed with which it could produce answers. Now, not always accurate, but again, are not always 100% accurate. But that's an issue that can be worked on and improved and refined. But that was the first thing, was just the incredible speed. Second, I would say that the interest in embrace of people across healthcare told me something, that they also saw the prospect, the potential of this technology, and especially in leading institutions, embraced it really quickly. And And then there are, individual cases and situations. I serve as a board director at University of North Carolina Health System as well. And I know that they're collaborating, have a collaboration between Epic, the electronic health record company. That's one way of describing them, and with Microsoft. And that one is focused on, making the documentation work and process for physicians easier and faster and better. And that's a big problem in healthcare. It has been since the adoption of electronic health records. And I was part of that, 15, 20 years ago. We all had a lot of hope for that. And, I don't want to sound as if that whole development has not paid great benefits. I think it has. On the other hand, the systems were designed in such a way that they required a lot of time and work on the part of the clinician, particularly around documentation. And I see that generative AI has a real prospect, a real potential to make that much simpler, much easier, much better. So that impacts both the patient and the clinician, and creates more efficiency. So those are some of that I've seen just in the last few months and have been impressed by.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll share my path to being a believer. I started as a disbeliever, very skeptical of new disruptive technologies in general. But, I remember what Clayton Christensen, may his soul rest in peace, said about disruptive innovation, that it is not about how dramatic it is or how innovative it is or how unique it is, but it is about the ability to make products and services affordable and accessible. That's the true definition of disruptive innovation. And what I find is that organizations in healthcare and beyond that are adopting generative AI at scale and delivering value are actually solving very fundamental foundational problems. They are not chasing those esoteric problems. They are solving problems of making a call center agent more effective while solving a member or a patient problem. They are solving the problem of speeding up prior authorization. They are solving the problem of reducing tech debt and migration modernization, providing nurse assist for clinical guidelines. So what I'm finding is that organizations that are truly leading in this space are actually solving problems that were very hard and very unaffordable to solve with AI. And the fact that it is solving so many day-to-day problems in a more affordable manner, I think, is what makes it so disruptive. So that got me really hooked onto this.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Sridhar. Yeah.
All right. And then, Bill, if you would like to continue on.
Sure. So Sridhar, I know that you're leading our efforts at CitiusTech and are co-leading our team and generative AI, and also have done for several years now a lot of work in analytics and data. And so we've gathered some experts with you. Could you comment on what you see, and maybe talk a little bit about the clients that we're now working with and what you see as you work with them in terms of their journey and how we are working with those clients? That would be my first question.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bill. So I think when I look at the spectrum of customers we work with, the medtech organizations, the product companies are the ones who've adopted it the fastest, naturally, because they are providing capabilities to payers and providers in turn. So that is, and then life sciences organizations, they are the ones who probably made the most progress. Next in that line are academic medical centers, who probably are wired and set up to experiment, and innovate with new technologies. And then I think payers and providers are now investing significantly this year. When I look at what have I learned out of organizations that are leading and truly scaling, first thing I've observed is the ones who do it right focus on identifying what they don't want to do with generative AI first, rather than what they want to do. Because one of the traps many people have fallen into is overreaching on this technology and trying to do things that you shouldn't. They seem to have tremendous clarity on what they don't want to do. For example, you want to ask yourself the question, do you really want to solve, clinical use cases first? Maybe yes, maybe not. Do you really want to put it in front of your patients and members, or you just want to assist your internal teams? Do you want to really drive new product development, or do you want to focus more on migration modernization? So I think answering these questions and having clarity on what you don't want to do, I think is first thing that I think is is something that stands out in organizations that are scaling. The second thing that I also think about is, Moore's law was about getting 2 times faster and half as expensive every 18 months. Generative AI, I think, forgot that rule and is doing it every 6 months. So it's just moving so quickly that one approach that seems to work is keeping your options open. Your ability to set up your infrastructure, your design, your organization in a manner that you can quickly benefit from, let's say, special purpose models, or for an open source model, or ability to fine tune a model quickly, I think seems to make a difference. So I think keeping optionality open is super important. And third thing I observe from an organization perspective is that it has to be top-down driven. It has to be leadership driven. It has to be centrally governed and accelerated, but you have to let go of the execution. You have to allow teams to experiment, learn, because it will take a lot of execution at the edge. So I observe that organizations that are succeeding seem to have these characteristics.
That's great. Really good observations. Some of the people who are watching this podcast may know a bit about CitiusTech. Some may not know everything about us as a company. Could you describe in as detailed a fashion as you're comfortable with some of the things specifically that we are doing to help our clients, and kind of what is our service offering, and how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are healthcare obsessed. 18 years in healthcare. Some of us are healthcare babies, others are healthcare adults. And in the healthcare space, we of course work with a lot of the healthcare products, digital product companies. We work with the provider systems. We work with payers, payer services, life sciences. We're probably one of the few companies that seems to operate in all angles of the healthcare journey of a patient in some capacity. We touch the data in all its forms. We touch the journey and impact the journey. We are a technology innovation company, so we help our customers implement technology-driven solutions to solve healthcare problems and also provide better healthcare services to their customers in turn. I think specifically within the organization, data analytics is a big part of what we do, and we've kind of decided to go all in on generative AI because we intuitively recognize that many of the problems in healthcare will get solved through generative AI, and we've instituted a task force, and we're solving many problems for customers. We're helping them automate existing processes like prior auth. We're helping create patient journeys and member journeys to support physicians, care teams, care gap management teams. We're solving a lot of order intake automation problems. We're helping customers use generative AI to reduce tech debt, to enable migration modernization, speed up the development process, get more value for the limited dollars that they may have so that they can invest more of their dollars on innovation and improving patient care rather than just dealing with the legacy of the past. So there's a lot of work that we are doing, and I think we're making a lot of progress to help our customers benefit from generative AI.
Yeah, that's a great summary. I think most people could understand that and appreciate exactly what it is that we are doing. Can you say a word or two about what we are doing internally in CitiusTech with enabling our own engineers and developers and so forth to use the technology to improve their work?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things that we did is that we invested a lot of time talking to our delivery leads, our architects, our sales teams to see generative AI as an enabler to add more value to our customers, as well as improve their own productivity, because there is a nervousness associated with generative AI. So it was very important for them to see it as something that will help our clients as well as make us a more innovative company. So we spent a lot of time doing that. Second thing is that we constituted a multifunctional task force. The task force constitutes of leaders from our consulting organization, from our data organization, from our engineering organization, so that we don't see it as an AI problem or a business problem or a technology problem. We can truly see it from different lenses. We also experimented like crazy because we said we don't know what we don't know, but we'll be the first ones to figure this out. So we experimented like crazy, built a lot of prototypes and out of possible solutions. But more importantly, we went and boldly offered to customers our help in helping them learn as well as learning with them. We were very, very direct and balanced about what it can and cannot do. A lot of customers like the fact that we are very pragmatic and balanced about it and not hyping up the technology. And I think that got us a lot of wins, and we are able to adopt and implement generative AI in many of our technologies. Of course, we benefit from the foundation of years of healthcare knowledge, deep understanding of technology, deep understanding of the problems, but we also almost took an anti-hype approach. And I think that is helping us.
Yeah, that's great. And of course, we both know that's very consistent with our culture at the company to not overhype and to over-deliver and to work in a collaborative way with our customers to understand their problems and issues and the potential of technology to solve those problems and issues.
Bill, at the proverbial helm of the ship here, would you like to share a little bit about CitiusTech's vision for adopting and continuing to lead in the Gen AI space?
Yes. Well, as you heard from Sridhar and from our discussion, we seek to be and will be leaders in this field. We're learners and we're quick learners and adopters of technology ourselves. So we value the partnership that we have with our customers, with our clients. It's really, our business model is partnership. Many companies sell a product or, a service. We partner to solve problems. And so I think as Sridhar was saying, it sets up well for us to be successful, embracing generative AI and working with and partnering with our clients and customers to help them adopt and implement and be successful. So that's our vision as a company. So we want to, and we are continuing to assemble talented people that are technically, at the top of the top rung. And we already have a lot of people, Sridhar and many others, who understand the healthcare system and understand, in particular, the flow of information and the flow of data. A lot of people sort of their eyes glaze over when you start talking about all the detailed exchanges of information and data and rules and regulation. And, it could just go on and on. And it's complex. It's complex for me. And I'm a physician, former medical director, former CEO or an executive. But it's, I harken back to what Sridhar said about the speed of change in healthcare and all the data and information that we're now, challenged with to manage. So I think generative AI gives us a huge mechanism to better manage that data, that information, and to better solve problems. So we want to be a leader. We want to partner. We want to go forward and explore. And at the same time, we want to do that with ethics and safety considerations top of mind.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, because there are a lot of changes and happening very quickly. But as you point out, ultimately at the center of that is our medical professionals trying to take care of their patients and what you can do to help support that and make their jobs and lives a little easier. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
And Sridhar, for you, I'd like to ask, what are working in the area that you're in? Well, I'll wait for a second. Sorry. No problem. And Sridhar, for you, being in the department that you're in, what are some innovations in Gen AI that CitiusTech is investing in to help the clients and the industry overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, Bill, thanks for your leadership and empowering many of us to do this for our customers. I think the three things I'm excited about, we are investing considerable research and development on. Firstly, quality and trust. We find that it's easy to get to a proof of concept very quickly, but to scale, you need to be able to have a very clear, measurable definition of quality and monitor for trust. Particularly in healthcare, that is super, super critical. no cutting corners on that, but we are helping customers with a quality and trust framework. The second thing that we are investing on is, for some of the more technically inclined, you will have heard of the RAG architecture, and that is apparently the answer to many of the problems in generative AI. However, in healthcare, we believe that there's a third component needed, which is knowledge graphs. So we are investing in ontologies and knowledge graphs because healthcare has a lot of context that goes beyond what large language models may be capable of for quite some time, and there are very specialized ontologies that we need to complement into the architecture. So we are operating on that intersection of knowledge graphs and large language models. And last but not the least, we're investing in experience design. We believe that with generative AI, interfaces will have to be reimagined. If you really think about how search changed the way we find information, and it almost is intuitive to us now to search using a search bar with personalized responses, I think every application needs to be reimagined with a conversational interface. So we are working on how to think about human-centric design that is generative AI or conversational first. So these are three research areas that we are investing in addition to, of course, solving specific problems for customers.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Bill, Sridhar, thank you so much for your time with us today. It was really fascinating to be a part of this conversation with you both and get your insights into Gen AI and its future in healthcare technology. For everyone listening, this is the first in our multi-part series on Gen AI. Please be sure to return for our next episode. You will not want to miss the invaluable knowledge our guests will bring to this discussion. Bill, Sridhar, thank you again so much for joining me.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
The Shaping Healthcare podcast is brought to you by CitiusTech, a leader in healthcare consulting and IT services. To find out more about CitiusTech, visit CitiusTech.com. To listen to more interesting insights on healthcare technology and innovations, search and subscribe to the Shaping Healthcare podcast. Thank you for listening. If you want to share any feedback or would like to be featured in our podcast, do write to us at citiusvision@citiustech.com.